All right, so welcome back for another deep dive. Today we're going deep inside the human body. Well, not literally, of course.
Right.
We have this fascinating collection of research articles to explore. And we've got all kinds of topics. We've got like dental stem cells, improving memory in rats, a super rare arm muscle discovery.
Wow.
And we're going to be looking at how our brains react to trauma. Ready to go.
Let's get started. I'm particularly interested in that research on traumatic brain injuries.
Yeah.
It really highlights the role of these often overlooked cells called astrocytes.
Okay, so let's start there then. This review article dives deep into the world of TBIs and reactive astrocytes. Can you give us a refresher? What exactly are astrocytes and why are they so important for brain health?
Well, you can think of astrocytes as the support system for our brain cells.
Okay.
They help maintain the right environment for neurons to function properly. They're kind of like a maintenance crew, keeping everything running smoothly. But things change when the brain experiences trauma, like a concussion.
Right.
Things change.
So these astrocytes become reactive.
Exactly.
Okay, what does that actually mean? What's going on there?
So when there's an injury, astrocytes, they change their behavior.
Yeah.
And they become what we call reactive astrocytes. And it's part of the brain's natural healing process. But sometimes, this inflammatory response can get a little bit out of control.
Oh.
And that leads to more problems down the line. It's like the cleanup crew going a little overboard and causing more damage than good.
Interesting. So how are scientists studying these reactive astrocytes?
They're using specific markers.
Okay.
Like GFA, CROAB-C3, and S100A-DAN.
Wow, those are some complex terms.
They're a mouthful, aren't they?
Yeah.
Basically, these markers, they act as signals, indicating the presence and activity of these reactive astrocytes.
Right.
So by studying them, researchers can kind of assess the extent of the brain damage after a TBI and potentially, find ways to control that inflammatory response.
So by understanding these markers, we could actually develop therapies to minimize the long-term damage from brain injuries. That's a pretty big deal, right?
Yeah, it really is. And, if we connect this to the bigger picture, it gives us a much deeper understanding of how the brain heals itself.
Yeah.
Which is relevant to, everyone, even if you haven't experienced a TBI.
Yeah, totally.
Who doesn't want to know more about the brain?
This research really makes you appreciate the complexity of the brain. But let's shift gears a bit.
Yeah.
This next study this is mind-blowing. It's about dental pulp stem cells.
Oh, wow.
Something we all have, right?
Uh-huh.
Potentially being used to treat epilepsy in rats.
Oh, interesting.
Yeah, so what's fascinating about this to me is the idea of using something so common, something we might even think of as waste,
Right.
to potentially treat such a complex neurological disorder. So in the study, researchers took these dental pulp stem cells, or DPSCs, and transplanted them into rats that were induced with seizures. So they basically recreated epilepsy in these rats. And then what? Did the stem cells actually have an effect?
Well, the results were actually pretty remarkable.
Yeah.
The DPSC transplants, they actually reduced inflammation and cell death in the hippocampus.
Wow.
Which is a key area of the brain involved in learning and memory.
Right.
But what's even more intriguing is that they observed some improvements in the rat's memory.
Wait, so the stem cells not only protected the brain, but might have even reversed some of the cognitive damage.
Yeah, it seems that way.
This could be a game changer for epilepsy treatment.
Yeah.
Especially if, it proves effective in humans.
Absolutely. Imagine a future where a routine dental procedure could provide the cells needed to manage this condition.
Right.
It's pretty amazing. Of course, more research is needed to see if these results, translate to humans.
Yeah.
But it's a very exciting possibility.
It really makes you wonder what other potential these everyday cells hold. Speaking of surprises, let's move on to a discovery that highlights how much we still don't know about the human body. This case report details a very rare variation in the origin of the sinoatrial node artery.
Okay.
Or SANA.
Hang on.
So this is a great example of how anatomical variations can have some significant implications for medical procedures.
Right.
So for those who aren't familiar, the SANA is responsible for supplying blood to the sinoatrial node.
Right.
which acts as the heart's natural pacemaker.
Yes, that's right.
So basically this artery helps regulate our heartbeat.
Yeah.
What was so unusual about this particular case?
So in a cadaver they were studying,
Mm-hmm.
they found that the sana originated from a different spot than usual.
Okay.
It came from a large atrial branch of the right coronary artery.
Mm-hmm.
It's kind of like finding a detour on a well-traveled road.
Okay, yeah.
You might get to the same destination, but the route is completely different.
And why is this important for surgeons to know?
Well, during heart surgeries, understanding these anatomical variations,
Yeah.
it can be the difference between a successful procedure and a potentially serious complication.
Sure.
Knowing the usual route of the sana as well as these possible detours.
Right.
It helps surgeons avoid damaging this critical artery.
Yeah, that makes sense.
It really shows why ongoing anatomical research is so important.
Yeah.
It not only, expands our understanding of the body, but it can also directly impact patient care.
Absolutely. And while we're on the topic of variations,
Right.
this next study explores a connection that at first glance seems completely random.
Okay.
It's the relationship between finger lengths and nasal structure in young adults.
Oh, interesting.
So this study kind of delves into this fascinating world of prenatal hormone exposure
Okay.
and its potential long-term effects.
Right.
And it's based on something called the 2D.4D ratio,
Okay.
which compares the length of your index finger to your ring finger. And this ratio is thought to be influenced by the balance of hormones like testosterone and estrogen during fetal development.
So our finger lengths could give us clues about our hormone levels before we were even born.
That's basically it, yeah.
That's pretty wild.
It is. And what's intriguing is that this study found correlations between the 2D.4D ratio and specific nasal parameters.
Really?
Like the width of the nostrils and how far the nasal tip projects.
So our finger lengths and nose shapes might be linked by something that happened before we were even born.
It just seems that way, yeah. It's a connection I never would guessed.
Me neither.
But what does this actually tell us?
Well, it kind of adds another piece to the puzzle of how prenatal hormones can influence our development.
Okay.
And while research on the 2D.4D ratio is still, evolving, it has potential applications in various fields, including forensic science.
Oh, wow.
Imagine being able to use skeletal remains to potentially reconstruct facial features based on, figure proportions.
That's like something out of a crime drama.
Right. It would be pretty cool.
It would.
Yeah.
But it makes sense. We often think of our bodies as separate parts.
Right.
But everything is interconnected in ways we're only beginning to understand.
Absolutely. And that brings us to another remarkable discovery.
Yeah.
The identification of a previously undocumented muscle variation in the human arm.
Oh, wow. What is it?
They're calling it the brachioradialis longus.
Wait, hold on. We're still discovering new muscles. In this day and age, I thought we had the human body pretty much mapped out.
It's true. We have a pretty good understanding of the human body.
Right.
But this discovery just goes to show that there's still so much to learn.
Wow.
Even in areas we think we know well.
Okay, so remind me, what is the brachioradialis?
So the brachioradialis is a muscle in the forearm.
Okay.
And it's involved in, bending the elbow and rotating the hand. But this newly found variation, it differs in its origin, insertion, and length compared to the typical brachioradialis.
So it's like finding a new species right under our noses.
Right.
But this time it's a new muscle.
Exactly.
This is why I love these deep dives. They always uncover something unexpected.
Yeah, it's always a surprise.
So what else do we have? I know we have a couple more studies.
We do. We have one on the digestive adaptations of marmosets.
Oh, yeah. I was wondering when we'd get to those little guys.
Yeah, those adorable little monkeys.
Yeah.
They have a special pouch in their gut, right?
Yeah. What was it called?
It's called the cecum.
Cecum.
And it's a well-developed structure in marmosets that allows them to break down tough plant fibers more efficiently, essentially fermenting their food.
Right. Okay.
So this study mapped out the specific arteries that supply blood to their digestive system.
Oh, interesting.
Highlighting how their circulatory system supports their unique dietary needs.
So it's like having a built-in composting system.
In a way, yeah. It really is.
Wow. Okay, what else have we got?
There was also that study on growth hormone and Parkinson's disease.
Right. Okay, so now I usually associate growth hormone with growth.
Yeah, I mean, it's in the name, growth hormone.
Right. So how does it relate to a neurodegenerative disease like Parkinson's?
Well, so Parkinson's is caused by the loss of brain cells that produce dopamine,
Right.
which is a neurotransmitter crucial for controlling movement.
Okay.
So this study looked at whether growth hormone could help protect these brain cells and improve motor function. And what they found was, well, it was pretty interesting.
What did it find?
So growth hormone administration, it did seem to improve motor function in the animal models
Okay.
and even showed signs of promoting new brain cell growth.
Wow. So there's a possibility that growth hormone could actually slow down the progression of Parkinson's?
Yeah, or even help repair some of the damage.
That's amazing.
Of course, it's important to remember that this was an animal study. More research is needed
Of course.
to see if these findings translate to humans.
Right.
But it's certainly a promising avenue for potential treatment.
Yeah, it's incredible how something that we typically associate with physical growth could potentially play a role in protecting the brain. Let's move on to one final case report, and this one is truly exceptional.
Okay, I'm intrigued. What is it?
This is a case report of a rare coexistence of bilateral internal carotid artery agenesis and a bovine aortic arch.
Wow, that's a mouthful.
It is, and it's an incredible case. So internal carotid arteries, those are the major blood vessels supplying the brain.
Right.
In this case, the individual was born without these crucial arteries on both sides,
Wow.
a condition known as agenesis.
So this person was born without the main arteries that supply blood to the brain. How is that even possible?
It's incredibly rare,
Yeah.
but it does happen. And to make things even more unusual, this individual also had a bovine aortic arch.
A bovine aortic arch,
Yeah.
like a cow's aorta.
Exactly. It's a variation in the branching pattern of the aorta, which is the main artery leaving the heart.
Right.
Cows have a specific configuration of their aortic arch, and this person happened to have a similar anatomical variation.
So they were missing these vital brain arteries and had a heart structure resembling a cow's.
Yeah, pretty much.
That's almost unbelievable.
And no, so how did they even survive?
Well, that's the remarkable part. The body found a way. Their circulatory system developed alternative pathways to deliver blood to the brain, compensating for the missing carotid arteries.
Wow, that's a testament to the resilience of the human body.
It really is.
I can't imagine the challenge this individual might have faced, but
Yeah.
it's inspiring to see how their body adapted.
It really highlights the importance of understanding these rare anatomical variations.
Yeah.
Not just for, scientific curiosity,
Right.
but also for providing the best possible care for individuals with unique anatomical features.
Wow, so much to take in. We've covered so much in this deep dive. Brain injuries, stem cells, rare arteries. I mean, we even found a new muscle.
I know, it's been quite a journey.
It has. So is there anything that really stood out to you from all this research?
It's hard to pick just one,
Right.
but the potential of dental pulp stem cells to treat epilepsy.
Yeah.
I mean, that's a game changer.
Absolutely. I agree.
The idea that, something as routine as a dental procedure could provide the key to managing such a complex condition.
It's remarkable, for sure.
And you know what? It actually ties into another key takeaway from today,
Okay.
the incredible adaptability of the human body.
Right.
We saw it in that case of the missing carotid arteries,
Right.
where the circulatory system rerouted itself to make sure the brain still got blood supply.
Yeah. I mean, that was unbelievable.
It really is. It's a reminder that our bodies are incredibly resilient, resourceful.
It's like our bodies have a backup plan for everything.
Right. And then there's the discovery of that brachioradialis longus muscle,
Right.
proving that even in the 21st century, we're still uncovering new anatomical structures.
That's amazing.
It's humbling. It's exhilarating, all at the same time.
I know. So we've explored all this fascinating research,
We have?
but let's bring it back to our listener for a second.
Yes.
Why should they care about these, seemingly obscure scientific discoveries?
Because these findings have the potential to directly impact our lives,
Right.
our health,
Right.
the future of medicine.
Yeah.
Understanding how the brain reacts to trauma can lead to better treatments for TBI, dental stem cells. I mean, that could revolutionize the way we approach neurological disorders
Yeah.
and even the discovery of a new muscle It adds to our knowledge of human anatomy.
It all matters.
It matters. It's crucial for medical professionals.
Yeah. Sometimes it's easy to get lost in the details, but really these discoveries they're laying the groundwork for a healthier future, right?
Absolutely.
A future where we can potentially treat conditions that are currently incurable.
Exactly. It's a future where we continue to unravel the complexities of the human body and use that knowledge to improve lives.
Well said. So to wrap up this deep dive, I think the biggest takeaway is that the human body is a source of constant wonder and discovery.
I think so, too.
It's complex, it's adaptable, it's often surprising, it's an amazing machine, and we're only just beginning to understand its full potential.
And each new discovery, it opens up a whole new world of possibilities.
Totally.
Who knows what incredible breakthroughs are waiting for us just around the corner.
Exactly. So until next time, keep exploring, keep learning, and never lose that sense of curiosity about the world.
Never stop learning.
And especially about this amazing world inside each of us. Thanks for joining us for this deep dive.